Bear down, Bears Nation! We have two massive updates today. First, trade rumors are swirling around a recent first-round defensive tackle who needs consistency. Second, our elite right tackle with an 85.6 run blocking grade just re-injured his elbow. I will name both players shortly, so stay until the end. Please like and subscribe as we push toward 3,000 subscribers. Comment your city so I see our fan reach. Gervon Dexter Sr. is officially on the trade block as our front office considers parting ways with the defensive tackle before the season kicks off. I have followed his journey since he was selected in the first round of the 2023 draft, and seeing him potentially leave after only 3 seasons feels like a major shift for our depth chart. While Dexter has displayed remarkable durability with a perfect attendance record, the simple reality is that he has not generated the high sack numbers we demand from a starter in the trenches. Head coach Ben Johnson acknowledged that while Dexter is a physical specimen who manages his body well, the staff has yet to see the consistency required to anchor our interior defensive line. Is this the right time to move on, or are we giving up on a 24-year-old athlete too early? The buzz reached a fever pitch after he walked off the field early during Tuesday's practice, leaving many of us to wonder about his standing in the locker room. And that changes everything regarding how this coaching staff views his role in our defensive scheme. I am genuinely intrigued by the potential landing spots, including a move to Arizona for pass rusher Josh Sweat or a reunion with Max Crosby in Las Vegas. But I also want to pump the brakes a little before we assume a deal is guaranteed. We are talking about a player who has not yet hit his ceiling, yet the lack of a contract extension signals that the team is clearly looking elsewhere for production. Watching how this develops over the coming days will be tense, as we wait to see if the front office pulls the trigger on a move that could reshape our defensive identity for the entire year. Could this be the final straw for a young defender we once viewed as a foundational piece of our front office strategy? Seeing a first-round selection like Gervon Dexter Sr. potentially shipped out before even finishing his rookie contract is a tough pill to swallow. I am looking at a guy who has been the picture of reliability with perfect attendance over 3 seasons. Yet the lack of a contract extension speaks volumes about where the team stands on his ceiling. Does he lack the burst or technical refinement to dominate in the trenches? The coaching staff clearly thinks so, as even with his durability, he has not produced the sack numbers that justify keeping him as a core part of our defensive identity. And I cannot stress this enough, the decision to potentially move him now highlights a cold shift in how we prioritize the depth chart. Watching him walk off early from a recent practice session only fueled the fire, suggesting that his role or standing within this locker room is far from secure. While I am excited to see if we can land a talent like Josh Sweat from Arizona, or perhaps bolster our interior with a different veteran, I also want to pump the brakes a little because trading a 24-year-old talent always carries inherent risks. Are we genuinely ready to move on from a player with his physical tools just because the consistency is not quite there yet? The front office is weighing a 2027 third-round pick, or perhaps a swap for someone like Deonte Banks, to address needs elsewhere. But this move feels like a gamble on the future rather than a focus on immediate stability. Whether this ends in a trade or a quiet resolution, the urgency of this decision shows that the clock is ticking on our defensive patience. Now let's shift gears to a situation that has my blood pressure rising. Our right tackle, Darnell Wright, walked off the practice field early this Tuesday with an apparent injury to his right elbow after taking just 2 reps during red zone drills. Trainers immediately removed the brace from his right arm as he stayed on the sideline before heading into the building, which is the last thing any of us wanted to see. Given this is the same right elbow he injured last season, requiring him to wear that brace ever since, the sight of him heading inside really stings. Is this the real deal, or are we just watching a team being ultra cautious with a massive asset? I am genuinely worried about his status, yet I want to pump the brakes a little before we assume the worst-case scenario. Theo Benedette stepped into the right tackle spot to handle his reps, but losing a first-round pick who just signed a 4-year, $116 million extension is never something to take lightly. According to Pro Football Focus grading from last year, Wright ranked 6th among all tackles with an 85.6 run blocking grade and 29th in pass blocking at 74.3, proving exactly why he is so vital to our success in the trenches. He earned a second-team All-Pro nod over his first 3 seasons for a reason, and his absence leaves a glaring hole on our line. And the more I look at this, the reality remains that the team has not disclosed any timeline or severity regarding the injury. Does this move the needle on our expectations for the opening week? It is a concerning sign, and I will be keeping a close eye on his next appearance at practice. Protecting a long-term investment worth $116 million is the primary objective, so why gamble with Darnell Wright in a meaningless red zone drill? High-end tackle play is a rarity, and with an 85.6 run-blocking grade according to Pro Football Focus, his ability to dominate in the trenches remains our greatest asset. If he is forced to miss significant time, our offensive efficiency will crater, as he is clearly the most capable anchor on the right side of the line. Does the front office understand the danger of pushing a player who is already fighting a recurring injury? And I'll be straight with you. The fact that he was already wearing a brace as a precautionary measure makes this entire situation feel like a ticking time bomb. While having Theo Benedet available to take reps is necessary for depth, he is simply not the same caliber of player as a former first-round pick with an all-pro pedigree. Some analysts suggest that teams often prioritize physical reps to test the structural integrity of an injured joint. Yet this feels like a massive miscalculation by the coaching staff. My honest take here is that we are prioritizing training camp snap counts over the health of our most valuable linemen. If this injury lingers, the pass blocking grade of 74.3 that he provided last season will be sorely missed, potentially derailing our entire offensive rhythm. Why risk such a high-stakes player when we know his elbow is a known weakness? Perhaps they thought the brace provided enough security, but it clearly failed to hold up during those 2 reps. Watching the training staff remove that support right on the sideline is a haunting visual for any fan who knows exactly how vital he is to our success throughout this entire upcoming year. When you put both of today's stories together, the picture that emerges for the Chicago Bears is one of a front office clearly prioritizing long-term roster construction over current emotional ties. Connecting these 2 developments, I see a team shifting away from patience with underperforming draft picks while simultaneously holding its breath regarding the health of its most expensive, high-impact pillars. Here's what people are missing: the willingness to trade a first-round selection like Gervon Dexter Sr. before his contract expires suggests that this coaching staff values immediate, proven production above the potential of a high-ceiling athlete who has yet to find his stride in the trenches. If he is moved, the team effectively resets its defensive interior while hoping that securing new assets can fill that void. Meanwhile, the status of Darnell Wright feels like a direct test of our depth chart after his recurring elbow issue flared up again during those red zone reps. Watching our highest paid lineman head inside is a nightmare, but maybe it forces our coaches to finally stop gambling with essential snap counts during practice. I am genuinely curious about how you see these moves shaping up for the regular season. Would you be willing to part ways with a player like Dexter if it brings back a proven pass-rushing weapon? And are you comfortable with the current depth behind Wright if his injury persists longer than expected? I really want to hear your take on this in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. I am still pushing toward our first 3,000 subscribers, and every one of you helps me get there. Bears Nation. I will see you in the next one. I will be back later to update you with the latest Chicago Bears news.